Hi everyone, I'm Jackie. Happy New Year. And in this SAT video, I'm going to go over the math questions, well, some advanced math questions that were covered on December SAT. So, per usual, let's jump in. Okay, so first things first, not too crazy, but still a great concept to review. Exponents. Okay, so this one says if n 5 to the third is equal to k to the 3 halves, and n 4a plus 1 is equal to k, what is the value of a? Okay, so my first thoughts are that I want to just get k alone. So what I can do is multiply each side by the reciprocal of 3 halves, which is 2/3. And then in doing so, we multiply this here, this just becomes 1. And then on this side, this would be 10 over 9. So 9 to the 10 over 9 is equal to k. Now that I have a value for k, I can substitute that in here. And then this would be 9 4a plus 1 is equal to n to the 10 over 9. And now, since our bases are the same, the bases of n, we can safely set the exponents equal to each other and solve for a. So 4a plus 1 equals 10 over 9. 4a equals 10 minus 1. I'm just going to make it 9 over 9 so it has the same common denominator. So 4a is equal to 1/9, and then divide each side by 4. So a would be equal to 1 over 36. And that would be the answer for this amazing question. Amazing, right? Okay, so warming up, it's going to get harder. Don't you worry. Continuing our journey. So I've actually brought up this question before in exam prediction videos, so it could appear on your next exam, and it's a good concept to know. So here we have function f is a quadratic function. The graph of y equals f of x in the xy plane has a vertex at 4, -6, and contains the point 3, -8. Okay, so right away when I see equation on the exam that is mentioning or giving me the vertex, I think of using vertex form, which is y equals a x minus h squared plus k. And I can just plug in the vertex coordinates here. So here would be -4 squared and -6. Okay, so here I still want to get the full vertex form equation. So to do that, I want to solve for a. Whenever you're provided another pair of coordinates, which we have here, um, 3, -8, we can plug those in, and this will give me the value of a. So let's go ahead and do that. So this would be 3 minus 4 squared minus 6. Add 6 each side, so -2. This would just become -1 squared. It's 1, so I get that -2 is equal to a. So my final vertex form equation would be y equals -2, x minus 4 squared minus 6. And then we're told that it has a y-intercept at 0a. So if I want to get what the y-intercept is, or the value of a in this case, I'm going to plug in the 0 for x. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Do, 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 do. So this would be, I'll just write everything out so everyone can see the amazingness. So this would be -2 times 16. So -32 minus 6, so I get that y equals -38, which means my 0a, it's going to be 0, -38. So I have my a value. Next up, it says the graph of y equals 5 times f of x has a y-intercept of 0b. Okay, so if a function is being multiplied by an integer value, in this case 5, it is a graph amplification. And and when the whole function is multiplied by an integer, only the y values are affected. So x values are staying the same, and every single y value, it's going to be multiplied by 5. So I don't have to really do too much further. If I want to get 0b, I know that if the y-intercept here is -38 in a graph application of being multiplied by 5, it will be -38 times 5. So let's see what that is equal to. Calculator. So it's 0, -190. And then our final step to this problem, what is the positive difference between A and B? So positive difference would be the absolute value. Let's go ahead and type that in. So my A value, A for the y-intercept, not to be confused with the A in vertex form, was -38, and then it was minus -190. Be super careful here because negative to negative, it is a positive value. So this would be -38 plus 190, and this would just become 152. And that is our answer. So amazing, right? Okay, continuing our journey. Let's see if you feel the questions get progressively more difficult. Okay, so here, what is the sum of the solutions to the given equations? I think this one's actually straightforward. But first, what I would want to do is remove the denominator. So multiply each side by x minus 4. So these will cancel. 0 times anything is just 0. So then I would be left with x minus 7, x minus 9 equals 0, x equals 7, x equals 9. So the sum of the solutions would be 7 plus 9, which is 16. Um, that was a nice and easy one. Let's see if it gets harder from here. Oh my goodness, what is this? For the triangles shown, triangle ABC is dilated by a scale factor of 5 to obtain triangle XYZ, where D is equal to 19. What is the measure in degrees of angle X? Okay, well, this one, pretty simple, but I'm suppose they're trying to be confusing, but basically whenever there's a dilation that occurs, the dilation scales all side lengths by a constant factor, in this case a constant factor of 5, but the angles will stay the same. So if angle A is 60 degrees, then angle X is going to also be 60 degrees. And that would be the answer. How amazing. Okay, continuing our journey. Oh, in the figure shown, point T lies on segment SW and segment TW is parallel. This could be important. So TU is parallel to segment VW. Okay. And then it says the measure of angle V is 26 degrees. So this is 26 degrees. And the measure of angle STU, so that would be this angle here. It's 74 degrees. What is the value of P minus R? Okay, so first, what I would want to do perhaps is this is on a straight line, so I can get the measure of angle, well, this angle here, which would be 180 minus 74, which is 106 degrees. So I have 106 degrees of the parallelogram and then 26 degrees. And important for here, I have the two parallel lines, and it doesn't matter which transversal you want to make, but I'll just make it here to show this is, oops, this is my two parallel lines being cut by a transversal. Okay, so dirt, which just means that this would be 26 degrees, and then this would be 26 degrees, and so would like this little angle here. But anyways, why is that relevant? Because with this information, I can actually find what P is. I can do now 180 degrees minus 26, which is 154 degrees. And then to get the measure of angle R, all I need to do is, well, let me just highlight for everyone. Like this is a quadrilateral. It should sum to 360 degrees. So I can say 360. minus 106 minus 154 minus 26 degrees is going to be equal to R. So let's go ahead and do that calculation. I believe it's gonna double check. So 360 minus 106 minus 154 minus 26. It is 74 degrees. Okay. And final step, I'm asked for what is the value of P minus R. So P we established was 154 degrees, and then minus 74 degrees, and that's going to equate to 80. So wasn't that amazing? Important concept from this one would just be that two parallel lines cut through the transversal, and I can get, the four angles that are equal to each other. And then from that, I use the properties of straight lines, and then I can get the remaining angles. Our journey. Oh, the equation NM is equal to 61 multiplied by Q to the M over 4. Gives the predicted population, NM, in thousands of a certain bacteria colony, minutes after the initial measurement, where Q is a constant greater than 1. Okay. The predicted population increases by P% every 120 seconds. What is the value of P in terms of Q? So first, I know like 120 seconds. That's the same as 2 minutes. So I can have everything in terms of minutes. So like it says the initial measurement, that would be at 0 seconds. So when I go from like m equals 0 to m equals 2. Okay. Which basically means that like every 120 seconds, I'm going from m equals 0, 0 minutes to m equals 2 minutes. And then I want to get what the population is when m is at 0. So let's go ahead and plug that in. So that would be 61 q 0 over 4. Um, just to show everything. So this would be q to the 0 power. And remember, any number raised to the 0 power, it's always 1. So basically, n to the 0 is just going to be like 61 times 1 or 61. And then I also want to calculate what the population would be at 2 minutes. So at 2 minutes, we'll plug in 61, q, my m value would be 2 over 4. So this would be q to the 1/2. So I could maybe keep it as 1/2, but I'm also, just to show, it's anything raised to the half power. Another way I could re-express that is the square root of q. So it's 61 times q. Okay, so next, I want to find the factor or the ratio by which the population changes in 2 minutes. So to find that ratio, I can put like 2 minutes over the initial population. And I know at 2 minutes, it was 61 times q. And at 0 minutes, it gave us 61 times 1. And basically cancels. And we just get the square root of q, which means in 2 minutes, like in 2 minutes, the population is multiplied by the square root of q. Square root q. Amazing, right? So now, final step, I want to see what the predicted population increase by P% is. So a multiplication factor of square root of q means that the new population is square root q times larger than it was originally. Okay, so that's interesting. So square root q, I can say it's equal to the population increase would be 1 plus p over 100, right? Because if I'm doing an increase of a number, I add 1 to the percentage, so 1 over p%. Then I can simplify this further. I'll move the 1 over, so square root q minus 1 is equal to p over 100. And I want everything in terms of q. So next step, I'm going to multiply like 100 square root q minus 1. That's equal to p. And that would be the answer. So the percentage increase of p would be 100 square root q minus 1. And you might be thinking, oh, but that's not an answer choice. But remember the square root of q, it's the same as q to the 1/2. So it's q to the 1/2 minus 1 equals p. And this is amazing because it seems to correlate directly with my answer. So therefore, choice C. Oh my goodness, wasn't it amazing? Okay, continuing our journey. So here we're given a function. The equation above has point C4, okay, and 2C14, which means that, so like the f of x would correlate to the y value. So I can plug this in. So 4 is equal to a to the c minus b. And likewise, 2c 114, that would be 114 is equal to a to the 2c minus b. Okay. And then blah, 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 b is a positive number. What is the value of, okay, I'm just thinking this one through, what I can do. Okay, so if I want everything in terms of b, okay, so for example, I could move this over and do 4 minus a to the c. Well, no. If I want to solve directly for, I'm just going to move the b's over. So sorry, 4 plus b is equal to a to the c. And then 114 plus b is equal to a to the 2c. Okay, then I'm going to square each side. Why am I doing that? Because if I do that, then this becomes a to the 2c. And then I can substitute this in here. So then I have everything in terms of b. So b 114b is equal to 4 plus b squared. And then, make sure that you expand your brackets. Okay, so it'd be 114 plus b is equal to 16 plus 8b plus b squared. And it looks like it's kind of turning into a quadratic. So next step, I'm going to put everything, bring the 14 over. So I have b squared plus 7b and minus 114 would be minus 98 equals 0. So if we could solve the quadratic, or I could also factor, it does factor perfectly. Usually happens in these type of problems. This is b plus 4, b minus 7 equals 0, which seems to make sense, right? Because 14 times negative 7, negative 98, and 14 minus 7 is positive 7. So my two solutions for b would be b equals negative 14 or b equals positive 7. And I'm asked for the positive number of b, so it's going to be b equals 7. Wow, what a great, amazing problem. Okay, let's see what we have up next. Okay, so right cylinder A is similar to cylinder B. Cylinder A has a radius. Okay, so cylinder A has a radius of 8. So I'm just gonna like radius 8. A is equal to 8, and the volume of A is equal to 384 pi. And remember, this is given to you on the formula sheet. The volume, it's pi r squared multiplied by height. So I can plug in the volume, 384 pi, which is equal to 8 squared, so 64, multiplied by h. divide out the pi, 384 divided by 64. So the height's going to be 6. Okay, interesting. Um, and then if I read, it says like n is the surface area of cylinder B, k is the surface area of cylinder A. So to calculate the surface area, and important, surface area is not provided to you on the formula sheet. So it could be logical, but it's also just helpful to know the formula, which would be 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh, because then I can solve, for the surface area. It's 8 squared plus 2 pi 8 times the height, which we established was 6. So 64 times 2. And then this is 224 pi. Okay, so I have cylinder A all figured out. Now let's handle cylinder B. Okay, so cylinder B is 27 times the volume of cylinder A. Okay, so important, when two cylinders, when they're similar to each other, all the dimensions, so in this case, radius and height, they're going to change by the same scale factor. So let's just say like there's some constant 27 times, right? The value. And I can see that if the constant, it's if we cube it, the scale factor, I can take the cubed root of each side, it's going to be 3. So K stands for my scale factor, which is 3. So I know the scale factor is 3, so the radius of B, it's going to be 8 times 3, which is 24. And the height, the height of B will be 6 times 3, so it's going to be 18. Ba, ba, ba. And I want the surface area cylinder B. So cylinder B's surface area of B, it's going to be 2 pi 24 squared plus 2 pi 24 times 18. And this is going to be larger than 76. I'm getting 2016 pi. Okay, so now I have the two surface areas. And just to show like if the scale factor, if you're doubting me, if it says 27 times the volume cylinder A, so this would be like 384, just to show it works. So the volume of this, it's 10,368 pi. And I said that volume is equal to pi r squared times h. Volume is equal to pi, the radius we established was 24 squared times 18. And 24 squared, I said it was 576 times 18. Oh, look, it gives me 10,368 pi. So just to show like my scale factor, it checks out, it makes sense. And continue our journey. So final step, the surface area of cylinder A is n, so this equals n, and this is equal to k. So I just need to, oh no, sorry, it's the reverse. Cylinder K, oops, so k and n, so it won't be negative. Okay, so this is n and k. So final step, I'm going to do n minus k, which is 216 pi minus 224 pi, which is going to be 1792 pi. So this is the answer. However, since it's a gridding question and I can't type in pi in the answer, it would be like 1792 times 3.14, which is 5,626.88 is what I would type into the grid in section. Isn't that great? Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick little math video of math concepts you should know. I mean, these problems, they appeared on the December 2024 SAT exam. Um, and you're going to see very similar ones on, well, on Blue Book exams, but also if you're taking your official SAT, you'll see similar ones. So I hope you found this useful. Let me know if you have questions in the comments and, like, rate, and subscribe if you like this video. And I hope you enjoyed, and I'm back, to posting amazing videos all month long. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.